Hey guys, and welcome back to another Premier League predictions video. Today we are returning after the international break. It's game week 13 and we start the fixture off with an absolute cracker on Saturday morning. Manchester City against Liverpool at the Etihad. And I've actually gone for City to win it by 2-1. I think Liverpool have been very good this year, but it's such a difficult place to travel and pick up 3 points. City have been the best team this season for me, although Liverpool have been good as well, they're obviously up there at the moment, I do think City will win it on home soil, so I've gone for a 2-1 victory. Game 2 sees two of the claret and blue sides facing off against each other as Burnley host West Ham. Burnley have been pretty disappointing this season, whereas West Ham have been quite inconsistent, but I have gone for West Ham to win it by 2-0. Burnley don't score a lot of goals, and although West Ham have been a bit hit or miss, I see them winning this one pretty comfortably. Game 3, another of the newly promoted sides who are struggling to kick off this season. Luton Town are hosting Crystal Palace at Kenilworth Road. Again, a tough one to predict because I don't actually think Luton have played that bad in most of their games so far. They haven't really been battered by anyone. I think part of it is maybe just a little bit of inexperience, maybe lacking a little bit of bravery to go for it in these games, especially when they're at home against the likes of Palace. They're the games that they need to try and win. However, saying that, I do think that Roy Hodgson's side will have too much for Luton. Palace very good at the back, and I've gone for them to win it by a 1-0. Game 4, another big clash, this time between Newcastle and Chelsea at St James's Park. Both teams have pretty long injury lists, and with that in mind, I've actually gone for Chelsea to win this one by 2-1. Now, this may be a little bit of optimism from myself being a Chelsea fan, but I watched Newcastle away at the Vitality against Bournemouth and they were very, very poor. I think they will have a couple of players back, but they're still nowhere near full strength. And with Chelsea playing very, very well in recent games against Spurs, Arsenal and Man City before the international break, I can see them potentially picking up all 3 points here. As I say, I've gone for a 2-1 Chelsea win. Game 5 sees Nottingham Forest hosting a pretty out-of-form Brighton side, and Forest have a very, very good home record. So with that in mind, I've actually gone for them to win this by 2-0. I think that might be a bit of a surprise when we see what other people have gone for, but Forest have been so good at home this season. I did see that Taiwo Awoniyi's out for a number of months, which is a big miss for Forest, but Chris Wood's actually done alright in the games that he's featured this year, and Brighton, as I say, a little bit out of form at the moment, really struggling to keep clean sheets, as I mention every week when I do these videos, and I've gone for Forest to win it. They got a great win at home against Villa when a lot of people thought that Villa would go there and turn them over, and they're very solid at the City ground. Next up, we have a big basement battle between Sheffield United and Bournemouth, two of the sides down in the bottom 4. I've actually gone for a 1-1 draw in this one. I was tempted to go for a Bournemouth win, that was my kind of first instinct, but Sheffield United have picked it up in the last couple of games, got that victory at home against Wolves, which will be a massive confidence booster for them. And I was looking at the fixture and I went, I don't actually think Sheffield United are going to lose this, so I went for a draw. 1-1's generally a safe option. I think Bournemouth will have a lot of the territory in the game. I think they'll go into the fixture as favourites, but I can see Sheffield United nicking a point. Game 7 sees Brentford taking on Arsenal, the David Raya battle, of course. Raya technically on loan at Arsenal, but it does seem like it will be made a permanent, so he's actually ineligible for this fixture, so it looks as if Ramsdale's going to be back between the sticks for Arsenal. Brentford have been pretty good at home. They're just a little bit inconsistent. They generally tend to lose a lot of games where they should get something out of it, and Arsenal have been in very good form to start off this campaign. They're very good away from home, so with that in mind, I have gone for them to win by 2-1. Very tough place to visit, the G-Tech, and Brentford always give the top sides a game. Very good against their neighbours from London as well, so I could see Brentford getting something out of it, but I went for Arsenal to win it in a very tight game. Speaking of tight games, as we head into Sunday, a couple of crackers on Super Sunday, kicking off with Tottenham against Aston Villa. Looking forward to this one because Tottenham are very, very good at home. We know that Postecoglou had this brilliant unbeaten record, of course, until Chelsea rolled into town. They've got a lot of injuries. I think Udogie and Romero still potentially suspended, maybe only Romero. I'm not sure if Udogie's was only a one-game ban because it was 2 yellows. But regardless, lots and lots of players missing for Tottenham. Aston Villa, as we know, doing really well under Unai Emery this year. And again, looking at it at first sight, my natural instinct was to go for a Tottenham victory. But I sat down, I thought about it, which may end up being the killer for me. But I actually thought Villa are going to get something out of the game. As I mentioned, they're playing some very good football at the moment. I think it's going to be a cracker. Both sides will go for the victory. And with that in mind, I think it'll be a draw. And then the late kickoff on Super Sunday, Everton, after their big points deduction, hosting Manchester United. Now, I've actually gone, I'm just going to straight away tell you, I've gone for an Everton 1-0 victory in this one. And my reasoning for it is that the crowd, we know what the Everton crowd are like. They're going to be absolutely up for this. It's the late kickoff on Sunday, so it'll be dark by the time we get to kickoff. It'll be under the floodlights. United really not playing well at the moment. Really poor form. There was more news about Erik ten Hag and Varane today, which is Friday as I'm recording this. So I think Everton are going to win it. I've gone for a 1-0 Everton scoreline, and I genuinely think they will win it by a goal to nil. They're very solid at the back at Goodison. And then finally, to round out the fixture as we head into Monday, I'm not going to lie, and no offence to either of these teams, but this is probably one of the most boring fixtures in the calendar. Fulham against Wolves, there's just not a lot of excitement for it. Both teams are pretty solid, both are decent. I'm actually quite a big fan of Wolves. I think they play some good stuff, but I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I think on Monday, again, it's under the lights at Craven Cottage, so that does play a factor. Fulham are generally pretty solid. They're not the most exciting team to watch, but they are all right, which is why I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Part of me was tempted to go for a Wolves win, but I settled for 1 apiece. And I'll be honest, this week I really struggled to pick a joker. Of course, Man City and Liverpool, 2 of the top teams facing each other. Didn't really want to bank my joker on a winner in that game. Again, Chelsea and Newcastle, 2 of the top sides facing each other. Arsenal away at Brentford, really tough game. Tottenham hosting Villa. United, as I say, away to Everton, and I don't think United are going to win it. So I really struggled to pick a joker this week. So I've actually gone for game 2, which is Burnley against West Ham. A little bit of a risk, but I was looking at it and I really do see that being a 2-0 scoreline. West Ham, pretty pragmatic, not the most exciting team, but they have been scoring quite a few goals, dangerous from set pieces. So yeah, I was really unsure what to go for. I've gone for a bit of a punt with Burnley against West Ham. Come on, you Irons. And so if we head over to the predictions website, you can see some lovely reading here. Up in joint third with my mate Callum, we were loving this because me and him were behind my dad and our mate Griffin, and we had really good fixtures before the international break. Jumped above both of them, and we're both now 2 points off top spot. So really good fixture before the international break. I was absolutely buzzing off that. As you can see, I finished second in the fixture with 12 points. I really thought I might potentially win the fixture after Saturday's games. Unfortunately, it didn't quite come to fruition, but really happy with 12 points because there was a lot of people with really low scores. You can see Griffin 3, my dad 4, lots of 5s and 6s. So to get 12 points gave us a massive boost over everyone else. Again, I'm going to focus on this top row here. So you can see Callum did really well getting his 1-pointers in. For us, it was the 3-point, the correct scorelines that really helped us out. So we got our 2 points for our joker. There weren't too many 6-point jokers flying about. This was a great shout here for Liverpool 3, Brentford 0, which of course we had. I said in that last video, game week 12, I was tempted between Arsenal, Burnley and Liverpool, Brentford. If I'd gone for the Liverpool Brentford game, I definitely would have won the fixture. I would have been solo leading right now, but c'est la vie, that's the way it goes. So we got our 2-point joker for the Arsenal game. United Luton, spot on, 1-0. I think I was one of maybe 3 or 4 people who got that right. Really good shout there. Aston Villa, Fulham, again, another really good shout of 3-1. There weren't many, if any, that got that exactly spot on. So I was really happy with that one as well. And then, as I've mentioned, the Liverpool-Brentford game. We also picked up 1 point for West Ham beating Forest on Sunday. And then there was that crazy Chelsea-Man City game, which I was absolutely buzzing about. So happy we got a point out of it because I felt it was so deserved. But yeah, really, really good week for us. Couple of 3-pointers where most people were struggling to pick up ones, and that saw us jump massively up the table. As I say, it's a very big fixture for us this week. We've now jumped up into those money places. We now need to make sure that we stay there. There's a little bit less pressure when you're chasing the pack. Once you're up there, you've got to be on your game and stay there for the remainder of the season. And of course, there is still a long way to go. It's still very, very tight. But I am absolutely buzzing to finally be above my old man, most importantly, and into the money places. But guys, that will do it for today's video. Let me know what your predictions are down below, and here's hoping for another good match day. I'll catch you in the next episode next week, and peace.